Good day to you. Jason here, Birchfield Family Farm, Oxford, Ohio. Grass-fed Red Devon cattle, St. Croix sheep and chickens in a rotational grazing system. Another beautiful day out here. We're going to hit north of 80 degrees here today and tomorrow. I want to move some broiler chicks out of our brooder. I want to take you along for that process. We have a little bull calf that we weaned that I need to get back with the herd here. We're going to do a few things. Come at you with a midweek video here. Don't usually do that, but we're going to make it happen today. I got a good word for you. This comes from Jeremiah 10. No one is like you, O Lord. You are great, and your name is mighty in power. Who should not revere you, O King of the nations? This is your due among all the wise men of the nations, and in all their kingdoms. There is no one like you. Okay, we're gonna get right into this here. I've got cattle back in paddock. What are they in? 2. They need to go to 3 today. Daily moves on the beef. We're gonna run this little bull calf around. The kiddos are gonna try that here. Let's see how that goes. Okay, so I'll pop back around side of the barn there. Again, my main concern is Mama Bear's asparagus patch. I am I'm sneezing like nobody's business today. I got into something here. Yeah, we got the chicken tractor out here ready to go. Put some feed bags around the base just to keep the wind off these birds. We're moving them out early this year. We normally don't move meat birds out to pasture until 2 weeks old from the brooder. We won't be 2 weeks until Saturday. 2 days in a row here at 80 plus. It's like, man, let's get them out. Let's get them out of there. But first off, again, cattle down that way. And we got to come down through the hay barn, from the hay barn over to cattle here with this little bull calf. Let's do that first and do a little bit of rodeo here. Let's see how this goes. Okay, we'll shut the gate here. Sam's over in the hay barn there, and gonna run him around here, hopefully down through here, through the gate. Try and keep him off of Mama's gardens and Mama's asparagus here. Okay, I got my little cowgirls here ready to go. You ready to go? Yeah, you gonna keep him off the gardens? Yeah, I hope so. What do you think, Ab? You ready?
Yeah.
All right. I tell you, it really gets tricky when you're herding just one animal, especially a young one like a calf. They just don't know the ropes. And I may send Sarah over there to help out here, but he'll get it. Okay, here we go. Come on, Hank. Down the fence. Stand your ground there, Sawyer. Okay, here we go. Now he should take off like a rocket here. They usually do. Come on, Hank. Once he sees his other buddies out there in the paddocks, he's gonna take off. Go on. Stay out of Mama's asparagus, boy. Go on. I tell you, I really have been pleased with him as a little bull calf. He's what? 8 months old now. And I'm looking at him as a next herd sire here out of that beef Devon side. Go on, boy. Go on. Oh yeah, loving that grass. There's your buddies down there. Come on. Okay, here we go. Got a rogue layer chicken there that escaped. Go on, boy. Let's go. You hear him down there? Go on. So we did about 2 weeks on the wean here. I don't know if it'll take. I hope he stays off of her, but I would like to gone a little bit longer, but we got other stuff we got to do here. I can't keep him peeled off. I could put a nose. Some folks use like a nose ring or a device you put in. I have never tried those. It would be nice to keep him with everybody else. You can move the cows, Sam, out into here. Close that one back there, please. Come on, cows. Come on. All right, let's see how this goes. Oh, he's happy. There's Mama. There's Mama there. Let's see what he tries here. Well, he's not trying to nurse. That's good. Okay, come on, you guys. Okay, so moving paddock 2 here. Got some pretty good trample in there. That's good. 2 on to 3. Number 3 here. Again, this is where we had sheep for lambing. I kept them here a day or two too long. This is a little bit shorter, but we're not gonna leave cows here long. See how they tear into this. Maybe a half day here, and then we'll go to 4. Got plenty of grass this time of year to keep them skipping, so that's not an issue. But everybody looking good. Have to keep an eye on old Hank there. I don't see him trying to nurse. That's a good sign. So maybe what we did took here. Okay, cattle are set. Let's talk meats. We call them the meats, right?
Yeah.
The meat birds. Okay, what's the overarching philosophy or reason why we're into meat birds? Well, I like meat birds on a pasture operation specializing in grass-fed ruminants. Meat birds, of course, especially Cornish cross, are going to be heavily grained. You know, that's something we understand well here. They're pretty expensive to bring in all that grain. However, each year I like to pick one of our quarter-acre paddocks and run these meat birds in the chicken tractor. And that chicken tractor is a 10 by 12. I did a video last year on our complete feed schedule. I'll link that here, there, somewhere up there if you want to watch that. But that's going to tell you exactly the exact feed schedule we use. My goal is to hit a dressed out meat bird of between 4 and 5 pounds, and we do that consistently every single year. We run 100 meat chickens in the brooder for 2 weeks, and we move them out to pasture. Those 100 run in this 10 by 12 chicken tractor. I've got videos in the past on the tractor and how we build it and why. I'm not going to go into all that today. I'm not a huge fan of the Salatin tractor because on processing day I'm in there crawling around in chicken crap, trying to you do that one time and then build something we could actually walk into. So a little more work, a little more expense, but easier on us on processing day. So I like meat birds as a supporting role in a pastured ruminant operation. Cattle and sheep are the main focus here. We're doing what we can with what we've got on grass, making ultra high omega-3 healthy meat off of grass alone. That's our primary enterprise and focus here. Those lambs, the sheep, and the cattle, Red Devon cattle, St. Croix sheep. So that's primarily what we want to focus on. But meat birds are an excellent supporting actor here in the whole production. And so, like the last video, you guys, we were out in paddock 1 there, and you guys saw the real kind of the rockier soil and how it just wasn't growing a whole lot of grass, So I think this year, if we can get the energy up for it, I'll probably move them back to paddock 1, pull that tractor around those areas, where that grass was not as prolific, and really get that manure. Cornish cross, we're talking like north of 2 pounds of manure a day from a bird, and so we're getting that organic biology. We're getting that manure down there on the pasture right where we want it. No shoveling, no hauling, just moving them once a day. And so with our water setup too, shallow buried lines, we're able to have, sheep, cattle, meat birds, layers, they're all plugged into that central water system, in a couple elevated tanks here in the barn. We're filling right now. You can probably hear it. But, 5 PSI, not a lot of pressure on the water system, but we don't ever haul water. No hauling water. Everybody's got water at the same time with those risers. I think we've done a video on that. Anyhow, let's get these meat birds out today. Let's get them moved out in the tractor here, and I'll show you our setup, what we're going to do here. Okay, so here's what we got here on this tractor. We stapled our feed bags around the sides. This thing looks like atrocious, I understand that, but it is functional. And the point here is we want them out on pasture, on grass, but I don't want wind and especially moisture, coming in here on them. And so we've got a heat lamp set up. I'll put these 3 heat lamps on a Yo-Link controller. I can turn on and off from my phone. I'll have a temperature sensor hanging here, and you know, a couple Plausen waters plumbed up to a 5-gallon bucket on the back. Again, that hose going into the bucket. The bucket's got a, it's just a float valve on it there, so it automatically shuts off when it's full. It automatically drains out, and that's running, again, from those elevated tanks, only about 5 PSI. That's enough to keep us going here. But important thing is keeping the wind and the moisture and those cool temperatures off these birds. So the way I like doing this water, I like have again, the hose comes in from the tanks. Go ahead and turn that top valve on there. And I like keeping a splitter running into this bucket here because we'll fill waters for the meat birds, the waters that they already have in there. They're used to those. And so we kind of transition them off of those waters and onto these Plausens to start out. So I like having something that they know. Open that valve on the bottom of that splitters there so we can bring those around back. We've always got water here, you know, to fill those with and take them back in or whatnot. Just makes it a little more convenient when you got easy water access. Okay, so as we make our way over to the brooder here, again, you know, what I'm saying on these is this is not a primary enterprise for us, and I refuse to make it a primary enterprise with meat birds. We sell our whole chickens, and I think it's the best chicken you can get anywhere. You know, that's just my opinion, but I refuse to make meat birds a primary operation for us, just because inflation, grain prices. I mean, you're heavily reliant on grain, but you know, while we're able to do it, you know, we're making very high quality meat for make some for the family, sell some, you know, and we really, it's an enterprise that supports the pasture. You know, we're putting down that manure, you know, really, when we get into the thick of it, several hundred pounds a day. And, you know, that's just very beneficial without having to shovel and to move that manure. So that's our primary reason for doing these things. You know, I will say this, kind of one of the other things that I've noticed over the years, just in selling meat, you know, even especially as we get into meat with ruminant animals, and you know, it seems to me the consumer right now is aware and is conscious of the grass-fed movement, and that being higher omega-3s, a healthier kind of a meat. But you know, in the same vein, what makes it tricky for us is, you know, I can't do a grass-fed beef carcass and put it out there and have it be gamey and expect that you know, my consumer is really going to appreciate that. So you have to put fat on the carcass, and I guess what I'm saying is the American consumer is used to grocery store meat, okay? And so as a grass-fed producer, I find ourselves really trying to stay in that vein, trying to bring something similar taste-wise, right? Only better. And so that really, I feel like we're in that niche here with these meat birds. You know, we're able to bring a chicken to market and to sell that is tastes a lot similar to the grocery, but it's way healthier because it's been raised out on pasture. And so, you know, something to keep in mind as you're going about this. You know, with beef, you got to put the fat on. You've got to have fat on that carcass, or it's going to be gamey. You know, it's not going to taste like the American consumer is demanding. And so, you know, that's know a guy that comes up here to hunt deer because he says that with the row crop situation, the deer they just have more fat on the carcass than down south, and so he's able to come up here and hunt deer and have a carcass that's not as gamey because it's got more fat. So that really is the art here, is putting on fat on a grass-fed carcass, both lamb and beef. And how do we do that? We've got to have great pastures. And so again, it's that full circle Cornish cross out on pasture, put that manure down. Is it something that we have to do? No, we can pivot. But I know a lot of folks, some folks in the regenerative camp, you know, want to diss on Cornish cross and, oh, you know, heart attack birds and they get so big, that's not natural. And well, you know, I think a lot of it depends on how you raise them. And I hear that argument, but what other breeds are you going to do where you're going to bring a carcass to market to sell that the consumer is going to be able to taste that and to say, oh, this is chicken, but it's amazing, right? I mean, well, you're not going to do that with a heritage breed chicken, okay? I mean, you may, but it's going to take you 2 and 3 times as long, twice as much feed. Ask me how I know. We've tried it. And so main point is Cornish are not something, meat birds are not something we have to do here, something that I choose to do. We enjoy it, and I love seeing that improvement on pasture. Okay, this is our brooder setup in here. You can see it's kind of long and skinny setup, a couple feet wide. I think we're 18 to 20 feet long here. But again, we're not in here for more than 2 weeks. We built this Ohio brooder. It has legs on the bottom. Let's see if I can get you a shot. You see up underneath there, we've got a light down on that side. There's a socket for 3 lights. There's another socket there. I don't do that. There's another light down here. I just keep the 2 lights on the end because that 3rd light, it was just too much. And so we would short cycle the thermostat. The relay in that thing heats up and then it malfunctions and I got to come out here and mess around. Anyhow, Yo-Link controller on there. I can turn this thing off and on. I got a temperature sensor underneath. You can see I set this thing up just so you could see the lights on. We're set at 88. You can see that top temperature, you know, we're climbing there. That's an ink bird. Not too terribly impressed with that. It was cheap. If I lower the differential below about 8 degrees, the relay will stick in there. Not real great. We have a 1/2-ton hoist that holds this whole thing up on a gambrel there or whatever that is, and then we got a couple of just ratchet straps holding this thing up here. And so what I can do is, in addition to adjusting the temperature, I can raise this whole thing up, see? And so like on today, we need to get in here to move them over. I'm gonna raise this thing all the way up and then we can get in there and move them out. Okay, so here we are up all the way. You can see they're all huddled down that way. I need to take that temperature sensor down. I've got this Yo-Link plug controller here. We'll transfer that to the chicken tractor so I can keep an eye on and control the heat lamps in that thing. But we had 102 chicks that we got from the hatchery. It'll be 2 weeks ago on Saturday. So bedding, we use old hay that we sift. My thinking there is, you know, rather than sawdust or wood chips, if I'm putting the sifted hay down, then they've got some seeds to eat there as well. We don't stay a day past 2 weeks. We're at about a week and a half now. So this is early, but again, temperatures are up. So I think this is going to be a successful time to get them out on pasture. You know, these chicks are kind of like tomato plants. If you garden at all, you know, tomatoes have to be moved in and out. I kind of think around here they call the process hardening off a tomato plant. You can't just put it out. You can, but it'll stun it a lot of times, maybe even kill it if the temperature's down too far. So same way with these guys. You know, we constantly lower that temperature on the brooder here, and I follow Joel Salatin's got a chart in Pastured Poultry Profits, a chart in there that gives you brooder temperature on each day from, like, I think it's day 0 to 3 or 4 weeks out. And it's pretty amazing that first 4 or 5 days you got to keep them at 90 plus, and then you start lowering and just getting them used to. I got a couple doors in here that we keep open too, just to keep the ventilation up. I'll tell you, there's kind of a lot to it. But 102 birds from the hatchery. Let's get them moved. We'll probably move in batches of 20 here, just in a box, and let's see how many we successfully raised here in the brooder. Okay, here we go. Just a regular old cardboard box to transport. We got their old waters here, so they're familiar, at least with the water initially. Man, they look good.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
Our temperature sensor there is reading 79.9, so no need for the, I've got 3 heat lamps set up here. I've got those on a switch. Again, the Yo-Link stuff, we've had pretty good luck with that. Not affiliated with them, it's just worked out. I found their stuff has a higher range. It can go through the, that Brooder's over there in the metal building there. And the Yo-Link stuff can send a signal through the building, and I could not find any other sensors that could do that. So it's worked out pretty well here. But yeah, the idea here is at night, you know, just I can be in bed, you know, and check that sensor, whatever that is, before night or before bed, and then just hop on my phone and kick these lights on and off as needed. I can be off the farm. I mean, I can be up, I've been up north of Columbus before, and you know, kick those on and off from the phone on a toggle switch, so pretty cool. So in terms of the actual tractor here, I went back and looked, and we've had this thing for 6 years. And 6 years, this thing has stayed outside. We don't bring it in. Lives every winter out here, and so you know, I would say the biggest thing on one of these, I want something I could walk in, and also something with a decent tarp. John Siskovich wrote a book on the chicken tractor a while back with this type of design. I modified that. I just didn't think his setup was big enough. I wanted to be able to do 100 birds at a time, and then also love Siskovich and his writing and all of that, but the tarp that he referenced from Amazon, we used that the first time and it was absolute junk. We went with something from tarps.com instead. I got a heavier version. I have a video I did several years ago on the construction of this, and I'll link that somewhere here. You can look at that if you're interested. I will say one other thing on this, part of the thinking of having this here too is that way is west, and so we've got our 3-sided barn here that blocks a lot of that weather and that wind, and so having them tucked up here in these first few days, this is the soonest we've moved them out. We always wait till right on about 2 weeks, but we're, like I say, we're going a little earlier here, and I think just keeping them out of that wind, that's going to be paramount. And that right there is what I'm talking about. Very, very, very low stress, and that's how we want to keep it. One of the things we've learned over the years with these meat birds too is just the importance of grit. I hear just a huge misconception. I used to believe it in the beginning as well. Look at that guy there. Is he interesting or what? With the hatchery, throw a turkey in or something? I don't know. Looks a little different there. I've never seen one quite like that. But this misconception of grit that, oh, you know, they'll be fine. The pasture will make up for whatever else. And, you know, no, that's not the case. I mean, you dig down, I mean, we don't have grit in the ground here. I mean, there's rocks if you get down. But, you know, keeping this beginner grit for them. And then I am pretty adamant about mixing in grit with the feed as we go. We just had really, really good luck. They have got to have grit. And I can't remember, I think it was Salatin that says that he thinks there's something magical to running this grit when it comes out the other end, comes through the system on the meat birds, that it is kind of a magical thing for pasture. I don't know about that. I'm sure it benefits in some way, but just that, if you can get a hold of some grit, don't be one of those people that just assumes that you're going to get everything you need from your pasture, especially if you're not in a rocky area. Get that grit out. 87, 88, 89, 98, 99, 100, 101. Is that it? Mm-hmm. 101. Okay, started with 102, so we did have one loss. The kids told me that we had one that didn't make it. That's pretty good though for the first week and a half in the brooder to have one loss. Typically we plan on 3 to 5% losses. So, you know, 3 to 5 chicks throughout the process here. I would be surprised if every single chick made it over the next You sleeping there, guy? Well, yeah, over the next week or so, just with this move, that's quite a bit of stress. We've tried to make it as stress-free as possible, but there's only so much you can do. So that's good, though. That's a great start. So I know a lot of you guys just getting started out there. You're in that 5, 10, maybe 20 acre range, and kind of looking around like, man, what can we do here? Grass-fed, minimal input animals makes a whole lot of sense. And, that's just what we've decided to major on and to focus on here. Meat birds have a definite niche within that, though. And, for instance, I would ask you, if you have pastures that are a little bit poorer in areas, what's your plan there? What's your plan for fertilizer? I mean, if you're going to fertilize with synthetics, especially synthetic nitrogen, you're not just going to pay through the nose, but, it's been proven now, we know that synthetic nitrogen inhibits mycorrhizal fungi, and so you're not going to have those networks that develop, all part of soil health. And so I think meat birds can really fit that niche. They can give you that organic, maybe bioavailable nutrients in the form of fertilizer that we need. It's going to be better for soil health running the birds, and so we can strategically place those in pasture areas where we're just not as good at growing grass. And so would I scale this up and do 10 or 20,000 a year and try and make big money at it, kind of like Salatin says in Pasture Poultry Profits? That's not for me. I'm not interested in that. But the longer that I farm this way, the more that I come to appreciate those enterprises that have multiple benefits. Okay, in the beginning we just got into this for meat. Well, let's just do meat chickens and make really healthy, delicious meat, and that was good enough. But as we go further down this path here, I really have come to appreciate the manure that they put down as well. Yes, we're bringing in inputs, but if you're gonna synthetically fertilize, you're gonna be doing that as well. So why not make meat? Put in a little bit of labor, teach your kids. We do a processing day where we have the community come out. Anybody that wants to learn how to process a bird, there's no cost. We show them how to do that and spend a day together as community. So there's community building in there as well. I just think, the other point here that I want to make, and having done this for going on 8 years, we've been farming this way. I think there's so much temptation up front in the beginning to just do all the things, right? Oh, we can do this. No, we can do that. We've got land and buildings and we can go this way. And then, and eventually you end up in a place where, man, jack of all trade, master of none. So I think, we're to a place where just pick a few things that we can do well, that work together, that you can integrate, that have multiple benefits. And for us, it's, at the end of the day, really, we're about sunshine and grass, and even selling sunshine and grass, really, if you want to view it that way, with beef, with lamb. And, that's just what I want to focus on, is that the grass side of things. But meat birds definitely can help us out in that area. So thanks for hanging with me today. Be blessed, be at peace. Talk to you next time. Take care.